Hi, I'm Lori at Abundant Peace Growing Gardens. Now that didn't come off very easily on my tongue, so I'm kind of throwing around some ideas for a name because I need something that really describes the serenity, the peace, the that thing that you have that's you're so passionate about, but just like fills your soul. That's what my garden is to me. And the whole reason I've decided to do this YouTube vlog is I've had some friends ask me how to start some seeds and how I get my garden doing this or how I do that in the garden. So I thought I would do this for them, and not just for them, but maybe for my grandkids and my kids, because when I grew up, I started gardening with my grandmother. My grandmother had an amazing garden. It was my garden's 2,800 square feet, and hers was at least 4 times the size of that. But she preserved everything for year round, so her garden was really, really important, and just basically part of our growing up, actually. So the biggest reason I wanted to do this was keep journal for myself, and when I take the videos on my camera, the files are too large to keep on my camera, so I have to start deleting some. And I did lose a lot a couple years ago when I lost everything that was on my phone. So I want to have a place to store them and look back on them and to do things for myself. So it's just me and my cell phone. It's nothing major, but it's just basically for, I guess, for a small group of people. Anyway, so let me go on to answer some of the questions. Some of the things that you need to be aware of before you start seeds. If you're going to start seeds, you can start from plants. There's absolutely, sometimes that's easier. You need space, you need light, and you need pots, basically, and great soil. You can use seed starting mix. Absolutely. You don't have to. You can plant directly in potting soil, but you take a bigger risk of having some kind of fungus. And there's a disease called damping off that's caused by fungus that will literally just sever your plants. They'll, right at soil level, they'll just keel over and die, and you won't even realize what happened. So it's best to start in seed starter, because it is completely sanitized. It doesn't have anything in it that can cause a fungus. So those are things: your pots, your lights, your space, and your soil. Okay. Now, you need to know your start date. You're basically looking at, if you're in a cold area like I am, you need to know your last frost date. I'm also in zone 5, but zone 5 has multiple frost dates. So frost dates are important when you're starting seeds. Okay, so you need to know, because that's how you count back. If you look on the back of a packet of seeds, it will tell you start this. If you're going to start it inside, this is the one you should start outside. Of course, that's the one I grabbed. Here, we'll look at the basil seed. The basil seed will tell you that you should start inside, start indoors. This particular basil is 8 to 12 weeks. So that's telling you this one's a slower growing item than some of the other things. Jalapenos are 4 to 6 weeks. Tomatoes are generally right around 6 weeks. So this needs more time. So you would start it earlier, but you don't want to start things like tomatoes and jalapenos early, because what happens is they get so big and require a much larger pot. So if you have that space and you have light to help those plants, by all means, start it as early as you want. Get the jump on it. But for the most of us who have small growing areas, I want to get a jump start, but I can't outgrow my space. I cannot afford to put them in large pots. And trust me, I have experimented, so I know what I'm talking about is best for me. Because I've made that mistake and I don't want to do it again. So anyway, okay, so the tools that I have, your frost date, important. My last frost date is April 23rd. So I made myself a calendar with the months down here, and it's got 1 through 7, and then 14 through whatever, and then 21 through whatever, and until the end, and then it starts at wherever the 1 starts, and it goes straight down. So it's really easy to calculate. Here's my average last frost date. If I need to go 4 weeks, 1, 2, 3, 4, that's what I do. And then my garden journals help me. I do a lot of journaling. I've done video journaling, and then I sit down and I write it out. And the problem is my video journals are too big to stay on my phone, so I have to journal them out. But I've always journaled them out in writing anyway. And what I find is going through the video journals, I see things that I missed when I've been standing out there. So another reason I wanted to keep the video journaling up. So anyway, so I do have a journal, a written journal that I put everything in here. I put what I've done so far, the recap, what's going on with the weather, the how dry, whether I've had to water, whether I've fertilized, insects, anything basically. Anything going on with the plant, I put it in here. So sometimes I even say just really silly things, like, oh, I put down my cardboard walkways today. Just things like that. It's just everything that has to do with the garden. So, and you'd be surprised how many times I've gone back to look through information to give me information going forward. So, okay, so start dates are really important according to your first start date on seeds that you're going to grow inside. You want to start typically things that have a longer growing window inside. Things like beans and squash and corn are really great to start outside. Doesn't mean you can't. If you want to try it inside first, you go right ahead and you try that inside first. Some of them don't transplant as well, and you don't get that big a jump on the season by doing it inside. So those are kind of the reasons that I chose the ones that I do inside. Okay, then I have a plan. So last year I drew up my garden plan, so I kind of know what I want to do and where I want to put it. So now I know what I want to grow for this season. Okay, now I know what I want to grow. I can start looking at seed catalogs, right? Right. So not before you look and see what you have in your inventory. Like, do you have seeds from previous years? I like to try and use them up if I can. So if I have seeds from previous years, I try to use them. There are times I don't. There's maybe something about the seed or maybe the taste of something that it wasn't my favorite and I don't want to use it again. I try to grow new things at least a couple of times so that I make sure that it wasn't just the environment that year that I didn't like, whatever it was that I didn't like. There's very seldom anything that I don't like, however. So just putting that out there too. So then I see that I have my inventory. So I need to make sure that my inventory is planned for. So everything that I've ordered, everything that I have left over from previous years, I have my inventory and make sure that it's planned for in my garden so that it has a space. I don't stick to stone with that plan. Things move. And then I tend to always find stuff that I didn't plan for to put in there. So yes, it changes. It really changes sometimes. Some years more than others. Anyway, so then after all of that, now we're ready to order our seeds. Where do you order from? You can get seeds from just about anywhere. Big box stores. You can get them from some grocery stores carry them. You can get them from farm and home stores. You can get them in lots of places. So wherever you choose to get them is fine. I order my seeds most of the time, and I prefer organic seeds. They don't have to be certified organic, but I do purchase a lot of certified organic seeds. So now the companies that I use, that I've used for quite a long time, Mowing seeds, because everything they do is organic. They have heirloom, and they also have hybrid. Now, the difference between an heirloom and a hybrid and deciding on what you want to grow is completely up to you. There's no right or wrong. A lot of people swear by heirlooms, and other people, are all hybrid. Hybrids are developed to do something special, okay? I may want this really large tomato to be sweet like this other tomato. So now I'm going to breed them and try to come up with something that puts both of those attributes together to come up with this, or puts an attribute because one of them may be resistant to whatever disease that they're trying to be resistant to. So that they're putting that in that tomato. I prefer heirlooms. I will on occasion grow hybrids. I prefer heirlooms simply because of the taste. That's what it comes down to for me. I've yet to find a hybrid except for a cucumber that is as good as an heirloom in many things. That doesn't mean that I don't continue to try, because there are times when I have trouble with something growing and a hybrid will just simply outgrow it. So, okay, so nothing wrong with either one of them. Next seed catalog is Southern Exposure Seed Exchange. Great company. Never had a problem with their germination rates. Never had a problem with them. They grow things to produce well in the South, so I know that they are going to do well in my very hot, humid summers, even though I'm in Zone 5. See, that Zone 5 sometimes doesn't matter. It just is your chill hours for if you want fruit trees or bushes, perennials that need chill hours, okay? Okay, so then the next two don't have seed catalogs that I'm aware of. Peaceful Valley Farms is, you can find them at groworganic.com, and everything they have is online. Really great company. Everything they have is organic. I think everything they have is organic. Groworganic.com. Everything I've ever ordered from them is organic. Then the other one is MiGardener. And MiGardener does not have certified organic seed. And let me show you. This is a new company I'm going to use this year. This seal right here is certified organic. And so most of the seed I buy is certified, because you can't always know. Just because somebody says it's organic doesn't mean that it's organic. Unless it's certified, you know it's organic. So MiGardener is... I ask a lot of questions. I watch a lot of their videos, and I see how he grows things. But I also have talked with them and asked questions. If you're uncomfortable, give them a call. Talk to them. Make sure. So I feel fairly comfortable that they are growing things without herbicides and insecticides that aren't part of an organic regime. Okay. So, and MiGardener has absolutely beautiful packaging. I see if I can find one of their seeds just right here. Oh, I used one of them earlier. They have really pretty packaging. And their online catalog is spectacular. Luke also puts out videos for, he does a lot of YouTube videos, but he also does a growing guide videos, which is, if you're interested in something, I think something like a watermelon, you want to be able to grow watermelons, look up his watermelon guide, because it's a great resource, okay? So the other two that I'm going to try this year is that Prarie Road that I already showed you, and then the other one is Hudson Valley Seed Company. So Hudson Valley has such a great variety of herbs that I'm really excited to try them. I don't have their seeds in yet, so we'll see how I like those two new ones. So I'm excited to try them. Now, I think I've given you everything as far as things to get you started. And the only other piece of information I can offer you is, if you've grown before, make sure you wash out your pots. Okay, so if you have pots from last year, you want to make sure that you start fresh with anything. You don't want any bacteria left in there. You don't want any fungus back in there that can affect your new seedlings. So wash your pots. I use a solution of water and hydrogen peroxide, and I clean those out to make sure I don't get any funguses. So that's about it. And I hope that if anybody is watching, that you just go experiment. You just do it. There's not a right way or a wrong way. Just enjoy it. Just start. And yes, there are frustrations. I'm not going to lie. Gardening can totally be frustrating, but there are so many benefits and so many rewards too. I think you'll enjoy it. Give it a try, and talk to you soon.